Hello everybody. In today's video, we're going to go over a new addition to Minecraft called the Crafter. Added in 1.21, this little guy can produce you any crafting recipe with the power of redstone. Today, I want to go over a little bit about how the Crafter works and what it can do for you. I'm going to show you some designs that you can apply in your worlds today with relative ease. And then I'll show you some concepts that are a little bit more advanced because it's fun and I've been waiting for this for too long. So how does the Crafter work? You can think of the Crafter as a blend between the crafting table and a dropper. Mostly because that's exactly what it is. Just look at the recipe. The Crafter can take in items either through player input or automated input, like through hoppers or droppers. The Crafter can store these items in 9 slots. These 9 slots, of course, make up the crafting recipe as you would yourself on a regular crafting table. These 9 slots can be individually toggled on or off so that items can't go in them. This is useful for many reasons, but a simple example would be for like the chest recipe or something. The Crafter can then be powered with a redstone signal, and when powered it'll attempt to craft the recipe it holds. And if the recipe doesn't exist, the Crafter will do nothing. When the Crafter does have a recipe that's valid, and when it's powered, it's going to shoot the items out the front face, and this follows the same logic that the droppers do, so meaning that you can actually spit these items out into a container directly like a chest or a barrel. This also includes hoppers or droppers. This makes it very versatile in how it could be used, and it can actually be used in any dimension really. The Crafter can also be read with a comparator, either directly or through one block. This will read a signal between 0 and 9 depending on how many slots are filled. One signal for one slot, as you can imagine. This signal also will change with the toggle of slots as well. So you could totally make a redstone padlock with this. Otherwise, you could use the signal to read whether or not the Crafter is ready to craft and send the power when ready. So how do I use it? The most fundamental way of using the Crafter, in my opinion, is for single item recipes. That way you're only worrying about the recipe the Crafter is crafting and where to put it, and not about how to feed the Crafter the correct item. This is also huge for item storage management when you have a farm that produces a lot of the same thing. So here are 2 ways of getting that done reliably. The first here I got is from Silent Whisper. I got this off of his Twitter a while back. This design works great, and it's most notable because it's 1 block wide. The only issue with this is that sometimes it can craft the first slot if you mean to craft all 9 slots. For example, if you're running bone meal or iron ingots, sometimes you'll get a white dye or some iron nuggets instead. And that is due to because we're getting double power from this observer so often. But if you can control the item input, this design works great. And you can integrate this into a lot of big expansive storage systems probably. But if single slice isn't a worry, you'll want to use this design instead. This will ensure that the recipe you intend is being fulfilled before attempting to craft at the cost of space efficiency. Also, an important note here, this composter is full to like the very last level, so it's putting out 7 redstone signal, so it's right before it gets full. Either of these designs are perfect to add to any single item storage situation. I'm talking about bone meal, I'm talking about iron, I'm talking about sugarcane. Why not a gold farm? More on that later. Single item recipes are great, but what if I want more? Each recipe calls for a different need, of course, and I believe some folks here on YouTube have already shown off ways to make an all recipe Crafter. But you don't necessarily need that all the time. More likely, you'll be making a design that fits your need in the moment. For example, here I have a 2-item recipe Crafter, or more appropriately, the Firework Rocket Factory. This module will take any 2 items that are fed on either side and craft them together at a very fast pace. This system is smart designed so that if any of the input items were to deplete, the system will shut off and wait for more. And because I intended this for rockets, we have to deal with the unfortunate reality that rockets don't craft to an even stack. So I had to slow down the system a little bit to dropper and hopper speed to compensate. This system's also smart enough to know when this dropper here is full. So no rockets are going to go flying everywhere. We're then going to pull out those rockets with these 2 hoppers here. and put them directly into a shulker box loader system. And then we're also going to shut off the system when we're full, and we don't need any more rocket shulkers. Ain't she a beauty? I'll have a link to this schematic in the description down below. As well, I will have a link to this world download so you can all play with this stuff yourself. And here we are, the moment we've all been waiting for. The gold farm, now complete with crafters. Feeding directly into my bartering farm. It all flows perfectly. The bartering farm matches the output of the gold farm, so nothing goes to excess or waste. It all flows nicely down into your storage. Oh, this is fantastic. So I'm not going to do a block by block tutorial on how to upgrade your existing gold farm, or not how to build a new one either, but we can kind of glance over some of the details together, and you could probably glean from this video on how to upgrade your existing gold farm. I'll also have a link to the schematic to this in the description down below, and this will of course be included in the world download that's also going to be down there. The biggest change that I've done here is that I've hooked up both the gold farm and the bartering farm into one hopper clock here. And this is set to 6 seconds or 16 items that stacked to 64 there. And that seems to do it. So, yep, we're just powering these pistons over here just like we do in the gold farm tutorial. Just kind of moved signal off to the side there. And we're also passing that down to the bartering farm here. So I'm wiring that to the torch burnout clock and also the piston pushers down below. So that's really the main difference with the bartering farm, is just the timer moved. That's the only difference there. We're also taking the signal from the on-off switch to power this observer clock here, or this observer spam, which is more appropriate here. Because, yeah, that's what we're doing. We're spamming observers. So the crafters will be filled with gold ingots from the filters up above until they have a full stack of 9, of course. And nothing else crafts with nuggets, so that's how we can get away with spamming these crafters. You can't do that with every recipe, but we're doing it with this one. The reason we need observer spam is because we really need it for these droppers in the back here. What we're doing is we're passing all of our gold ingots into these droppers, and those are just passing all the ingots down along up into that double chest there. This last filter is for gold ingots. I find you only really need one, especially with the way we're handling the gold. And then finally, from the double chest, we're just passing that directly into the bartering farm. And the bartering farm, aside from the timer, is exactly the same. Exactly the same. No difference there. Now, some of you might notice we didn't craft the iron nuggets. Well, what I'm going to say to that is, that's a you project. I want you to employ all the knowledge you've learned from this video and craft all the iron nuggets into iron ingots, and then those into iron blocks. Then you'll have the ultimate bartering farm storage. So that's your project. That's your homework. Be a good student. Learn from your sensei. This one was short and sweet, but I think it gets right to the point. With all the techniques that I've shown you today, you should be able to make all your crafting dreams come true. And of course, if you learned anything from today's video, hit that like button. It really helps the channel. I really appreciate it. And why not leave me a comment? I also like reading those too. Tell me, what are you looking forward to using the crafter for? And if you like videos along these lines, be sure to subscribe. There's more coming down the pipeline, I assure you that. That's going to do it for me, everybody. Until next time, I'll talk to you all later. Ta-ta for now. Bye-bye.